Okay, now we're back. I decided not to do the yellow model on this baby because I wanted to wait and see what she's going to look like after her red wash. This is the same paint that I used for her mottling, nice and thin and red. I'm going to move some of these aside so it doesn't get splocked on while I'm doing this. I'm going to use 2 sponges. These are the Wonder Wedge, kind of the wash sponge. I get them from Bountiful Baby. They haven't had them on here for a while now. I'm not sure if they're just out of stock or if their dealer has dried up because of issues with COVID or whatever, but I need to find a new place because my bag is almost empty. Anyway, so I'm going to use one to dip straight into the red, and I'm going to smear it on as just a consistent whole color. And instead of leaving holes, every surface needs to be touched with this so that there's no gaps in color. I'm going to do a little section, and then I'm going to come back over gently and just kind of take off any excess so it doesn't drip and pool. Doesn't take much off, just a little bit. I don't want any pooling. And this is only adding a tiny layer. You can kind of see where it has been and hasn't been. You don't want it to go on so thick that it makes your baby super hot pink. If I was doing a preemie, that would be a different issue. I would want it to be going on a little thicker, but this baby is not meant to be that small, that tiny, that pink. This color I actually am going to go over the lips because it's a solid color and it's not going to leave blotchy spots. I'm going to come back over and clean up any extra pooling there is. On our hands, we're going to do the bottoms of the hands first to make sure that we get all the pooling from dripping around in between the fingers, around the fingers, inside, outside of every single digit. You hear the fan going in the background. It's our hair drying fan that we use to dry the glue on the inside of heads. It helps to speed up the drying time. Instead of taking dozens of days, it takes a few hours. And on this finger you can kind of see that there is pooling inside that knuckle. So I'm going to come and touch that really gently so that it doesn't take off all the red. But I don't want to leave any of that pooling because I'll have to fix it later, and it's a pain when it's wet or when it's dry. And we're trying to get this baby to a skin tone, a base skin tone that we like, and then from there we'll only go on to do the details and the shading parts of the things. So if I were making this baby ethnic, this would take a long time to build it up to the colors that would be realistic for whatever that skin tone would be. I'm going to come back to this first hand and check to make sure I didn't have any pooling on the fingers. Did a pretty good job. Okay, now on to the feet. And there's lots of little puddles on the bottoms of feet. So I'm going to pull out my actual blender brushes so I can touch those without them puddling up too deep and causing big old nasty stinky creases. Now these sponges, after I'm use them up, they swell up with color so much that it ruins them. So after they are used for any given wash, sometimes I can use them for 2 washes, but most of the time 1 wash is about it, and then I have to throw them away and start over. That's why these ones go through. I go through them a lot faster than the dent sponges that I use for modeling. All those little wrinkles. I think her skin tone is about where I want it to be after this color. I think she's doing pretty awesome. After this, I'm gonna let her dry, and then I'm gonna throw on her first layers of lips, and then I'll cook her. And then from there, we'll just go on to her details. All right, so she's coming along nicely. I think as soon as she's dry, we'll do her lips and some of her facial beginning creases, and then we'll cook her, and then we'll come back to the next, well, I'll show you the next video of her with lips so that you can see that part, but so nearly there, coming along nicely.